Hello everybody, my name is Joshua and I'd like to welcome you back to another episode of Coffee, Cats, and King, where we discuss books, both new and old. I will share with you pictures of my cats, will make you wish they were your cats, and I will drink enough coffee for me and everybody watching. So this is, once again, my attempt at a return on here. I don't know how to go, just like I don't know how the others worked out until they didn't. So we're just gonna give it another try and see. Felt like I had to try and come back, one because I have 1,000 awesome books to talk about and really want your opinions on, and two because now Mr. Troy Tradup has decided to join, and that just makes things so much more exciting. So I have to get in on it. You know, I think he has a new tag of his own. So a couple quick questions before we get into this February TBR. I've wanted to jump back on here, and I knew I probably would at some point, so I have still been keeping up with my wrap-ups for the month. That would be, in this case, December, January, and I think maybe even November. Question then is, are you guys at all interested in hearing about those books? Should I maybe just post a list of them and see who wants to hear about which of the books that I read then? Should I still be doing a wrap-up from the previous year or a best of from the previous year? I'd like to get your thoughts and opinions on this, and so just let me know down below, because I'm a little undecided on whether it is worth it for you folks for me to go back and do that or not. Like I said, I mean, I have it all here. I just don't know if it'd be something that you're interested in. So I'm going to keep things simple today for the start. I'm going to start you out with some cat footage because it has been so very long, and I know that's why I still have the subscribers I do, because they're just waiting for that day that they can return on here and find a new video with havoc and chaos. So decided to separate it out this time into the ebooks, audiobooks, and physical books that I'm going to read. Now, I am still technically under a sort of self-imposed ban, which is going pretty well. I set a limit of 50 books for myself that I needed to read before I could buy more books, and I decided that I was allowed to buy something when I hit the 25 book mark. So I did that. I'm now at, I think, 31 books that I have read since starting that challenge, and 32 that I have unhauled, which includes some books of that 31 that I've read and then decided I didn't want to keep, and others that I picked up, read the first little bit, decided I didn't want them. So this is going really well for me, despite how difficult it is to put this sort of ban on yourself. But I haven't really been thinking of it like that. Yes, there are plenty of books I want to buy, but there are also so many books on this shelf that I'm finding and forgetting that I had. So this is working out really well. I mean, like I said, I've unhauled more books than I have read at this point, which is really great because I need the space for new books. So all of this is to say that I'm still keeping up with physical books here. I do have some to show you there, but separating this TBR out this way is for me as well, because I'm only counting the physical books that I've read towards that. It only makes sense. So basically 5 ebooks, 4 audiobooks, and 6 physical books that I know I'll get to. And I know that number of 6 seems pretty low for me in particular, but there is a reason why. You will see that once we get into those, but I'm actually going to start with the audiobooks because just 4 audiobooks. Now, I do a lot of driving. I live out in the middle of the woods, out in the middle of nowhere, away from civilization. It's the way we like things, my wife and I, but unfortunately that means I have a very long drive into work, and therefore I have a lot of time on my hands while driving. Why not get some audiobooks in? There's actually a program that I've been using that I'll probably talk a little more about in a future video that has been excellent for audiobooks, much more affordable and reasonable than trying to do like an Audible thing. It just wasn't working for me, but this has been great. So I usually get, depending on their length, I'll get anywhere between 1 and 3 audiobooks done in a month. This time I have 4 because they are 2 of them are shorter, novella length, and then 2 that are, more of a normal length. So first one that I'm starting with is Laurel Hightower's Crossroads. Ignore the train in the back if you can hear that. This book garnered a lot of attention last year, along with her little novella Below. Have not read anything by Laurel Hightower up to this point, so saw this on there as an audiobook option. Decided to give it a try. This is about a woman named Chris who loses her son in a tragic accident, and while mourning him, a drop of her blood drips onto his memorial site. And the next night, she swears that she sees a ghost that she's quite sure is his ghost. And from that point on, she starts experiencing these paranormal things, feeling like someone is watching her, like someone is there, and she is determined that it is her son, and that she's going to do whatever is necessary to keep these ghostly visitations going. So a very short one, one that I was interested in, and again, if I can listen to it for free rather than purchase it, well, there you go. And the second audiobook I plan to get to is one that I wouldn't seem like something that you would normally find on this channel, but I've heard nothing but good things about this book. This is Jeanette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mom Died, which is her autobiography of young age, getting into show business, if you will, the immense pressure put upon her by her mother, by producers, the things that she had to go through as a child actor, and coming into her own, and something about it intrigues me. Again, I've heard nothing but good about this book, other than the fact that it's very tragic what her and other child actors have to go through, especially female actors of any age for that matter. And so I'm very interested. This audiobook is narrated by her, which makes it even better. I think something like this, something that is meant to be powerful in this way, something personal, it needs to be read by the author, so all the better that I get to experience it in this manner. The next audiobook is a very short one by Mr. Ronald Malfi titled Mr. Cables. And this is about an author whose most famous horror novel has his name on the front cover and in the acknowledgments, but it was not written by him. And all the description really tells you is that the most terrifying thing might not be the contents of the book, but how it came about in the first place. So I really don't know much about this. It has sort of that modern day creepy pasta urban legend feel to it in a way. And this was one that, again, I was very interested in. Found the audiobook where I'll be able to read it through this subscription thing that I use, and figured, hey, why not? After that, I will jump into my final audiobook of the month. This is 12 Nights at Rotherhouse by J.W. Ocker. Got my little cliff notes here for this one. So essentially, this is about a man that makes his living going around writing about haunted houses that people can stay in, either rent out or inns and hotels and that sort of thing. And he is given this challenge to stay 13 nights at the infamous Rotterdam mansion. And I'm going to say it probably doesn't go very well for him. I have to assume that this has sort of a Hell House feel to it. Those are my 4 audiobooks. Let's get into the 5 ebooks. The first ebook is Edward McFadden III's Terror Peak. And I'm going to keep this short and simple. This is about snowboarding. These gentlemen in particular who are trying to be the first people to snowboard down a place called Abominable Peak. So called because there are claims that Yetis live there, that abominable snowmen live there. And as our fine characters find out, they do, and they do not like humans messing with their territory. So, simple and sweet, but I'm always up for anything to do with Yetis or Sasquatch in a fiction novel. Andrew, I know that you feel the same way, so you understand me at least. Ebook number 2 is Sizing Up Your Shadow by Matt Richardson. This is a short story collection. Caught my eye because of the cover, and this one had some really interesting story ideas, such as a spam call with the potential to alter reality, a voyeuristic experiment where the host plays God, a mysterious sleepaway camp massacre, and the best 100 seconds of one woman's life, for better or for worse. Following that, I'm getting into Ivy Tholin's Mallrats with this awesome kind of 80s horror movie cover and an 80s horror movie premise. This is the year 1999 though, and bodies are very quickly piling up at a local Texas mall. This girl decides to investigate. She is soon the prime suspect. And to top it off, she thinks the killer may live near her. They've actually had sightings of this killer who wears a baby doll mascot costume, whatever the heck that means, but it sounds creepy. I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a gory ride, very reminiscent of the classic horror movies that we all know and love. Now for a second round of short stories from an author that I don't know. This is Benjamin Harnett with Gigantic. And this one again just had stories that sounded so intriguing. I was just like, why not? Let's pick it up, let's see what happens. The title story in particular is of course the one that caught my eye, about evidently babies and children suddenly having crazy growth spurts. It's just insane enough to work in a really creepy way. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. Again, never read anything by the author. This might even be his first. I have no idea. I'm really going into these pretty much blind, other than brief descriptions that I'm giving you. So we're all going to see how this goes together. And finally, this is one that I kind of wish I would have been able to write it myself, because if it is at all as good as just the cover and title and description alone say it will be, I am so jealous of this man for writing it before me. This is Andrew McKay with Starcat, Infinity Claws. First of all, we're just going to appreciate this incredible cover. And the description is as follows. The Space Opera Alpha expedition vanished exploring one of Saturn's moons. It was assumed the crew died, but a strange message left mission control with hope. Why wouldn't survivors send a longer distress call? It was only 2 words, but what do they mean? Only the common house cat seems to understand it. Now, the prowl is on to find the best-suited cat to join Space Opera Beta's rescue team to Saturn. She will be judged on her agility, prowess, obedience, and combat. The winner will be crowned Earth's first Star Cat and equipped with Infinity Claws to battle anyone who stands in her way. But the human crew have no idea how important little Fuzzball is to the future of the universe, how disobedient she is whenever she feels like it, and how violent she can get with friends and foe. There is nothing about that I don't love right off the bat. I mean, I gotta tell you, if this is half as good as I'm hoping it is, then as soon as my book buying ban is over, I'm buying every book in this series because, yes, it is a series and all the other covers are just as great. They will all be purchased. I will have them. I will love them in their physical forms, and they will have a place on my bookshelf forever and ever. On to the last 6. These are my physical books for the month. As I said, 6 is pretty low as far as physical books go for me. But I did give myself some decent reading here as far as the Kindle go as well. Well, the very first physical book, and I have started this, but I've got a long way to go. This is Kate Elliott's The Burning Stone, which is volume 3 of the Crown of Stars series that I started last year. And it's a beautiful book, but it is a hefty one. This is 800 pages, and this is not, 800 pages of a horror story, which reads much differently than 800 pages when you're talking about an epic fantasy. Every book in this series so far has been 700 or 800 pages or more. This goes on for 7 books in total. This is only the 3rd, and every one of these books, I think, gets a little bit longer. So this is very complex. There's so much stuff going on. I'm 300 pages in. I still have another 500 to go, and there's just so much happening. So this, I know, is going to consume a lot of my time. I've actually decided to kind of sparse it out a bit, so I just have a very easy goal of myself to read 50 pages a day in this guy here. Once I've hit those 50 pages, I kind of set it aside because I don't want to burn out on it, which is kind of what I did with some Joan Divinge last year. I don't want that with this because I'm really, really loving this series and I want to be able to continue it. So I'm trying to do whatever I can to avoid that burnout. So 50 pages a day on that one, and then that in between is where I will read these other physical books and my ebooks. So alongside that at the moment, I've already started this one. Honestly, may even finish this one today, depending on how things go. This is another short story collection by Christopher Fowler. This one is titled Sharper Knives. And guys, I'm probably late to the party here, or I know I'm late to the party because this book and most of his others have been out for 30 years or more. But I don't know where this guy was hiding. I really didn't have much experience with him at all. I thought I had some, but then last year I read one of his collections, absolutely loved it, picked this one up, and it's freaking killer, man. Every story is just so excellent. And it makes me really happy because last year I purchased a lot of something like 6 or 7 of his books. So I have a bunch of the others there still on my shelf. And this makes me so excited to get to the rest of it. But this guy is just blowing me away. I mean, the stories are so creative, so interesting, so well written. Seriously, where has this guy been hiding? Because I haven't been this excited about a new author to me since I first picked up Paul Tremblay. And before Paul Tremblay, I can't tell you the last time someone, kind of blew me away with their writing. But this guy is doing it. I'm just loving every second of this. And I can't wait to get into more of his stuff later on. But I'll definitely be doing a review on this and trying to convince some of you guys later on to pick up some of Christopher Fowler's stuff because this guy can really, really write. Side note, so I'm sure some of you guys do this too. I have this thing when reading a physical book, I have to find the right bookmark. I need a bookmark that feels like it goes with that book, and it's just a thing for me. I have tons of bookmarks, and I have to find the one that works. So for The Burning Stone, I'm using this one here. for Christopher Fowler's Sharper Knives. This was more me being silly than anything. It says you can't read all day if you don't start in the morning. Book number 3 on my physical TBR is Kat Rosenfield with Amelia Ann is Dead and Gone. Really pretty cover. This will be the bookmark to go with it. And this one reads, Becca has always longed to break free. Free from her backwater hometown, free from its small town gossip and dead-end lives. With the horrifying discovery of a body, an outsider, Amelia Ann, battered and broken on the morning after graduation, sends Becca into an unexpected tailspin. As the violence of the real world creeps close to home, Becca retreats, paralyzed from moving forward for the first time in her life. The details of Amelia Ann's final harrowing moments play out against Becca's own out-of-control summer, as Becca's and Amelia's parallel stories twist the reader closer and closer to the horrifying truth in this emotionally arresting, sexy, and raw debut from dazzling new talent, Kat Rosenfield. I feel like it might be like a young adult, but I'm not really sure. But small town, murder, mystery, always an interesting thing. I've also kind of been craving some of the nostalgia of reading the whole teenage experience again, if you will. I'm an old man now, so I have to do that sort of thing. And so I think that this is really going to scratch that itch for me. Lovely cover, and it sounds very compelling. So I'm not sure if anyone has read this or read anything else by Kat Rosenfield, but if so, let me know, because that's one that I've really been looking forward to picking up. Now this next one, I don't know how this is going to go, but I think I'm really going to enjoy it. So this is a book that I will tell you outright I know nothing about. I have not looked up a synopsis. I can't tell you the first thing about it. I am picking this book up based entirely off of the cover and what the cover says about it. So this is Anne E. Berg with All the Broken Pieces. And this is, of course, a baseball that is splitting at the seams. And what really got me is this, a novel in verse. So this is for a younger audience. It's 220 pages, but it is just as it says, written in poetry form. And that is all that I know about this. I'm excited for it. There are not many novels written in verse, especially not many contemporary novels written in verse, other than perhaps Sharp Teeth and a few others here and there. But this will be my first time reading one in quite a while. And my first time diving into a book without any explanation of what is going to happen inside. So, could be a very good thing, could be a very bad thing, I don't know. The bookmark that I have picked for this one was based solely off of how this makes me feel. So, I picked this one here. I don't know why, it's just something about it makes me feel like that is the correct bookmark for this one. I don't know. Okay, this next one is really a toss-up for me because in ways it doesn't sound like a book I would be interested in whatsoever. It's definitely for a younger audience, and it's not the sort of thing I would normally pick up. But this is Anthony John with 5 Flavors of Dumb. The cover was not what drew me into this book at all. It is more the idea of what the book stands for. So this is about a girl named Piper, a high schooler, who is given the opportunity to prove herself, and if she can book this new band who call themselves Dumb, if she can book them to one really big gig that's about to happen, then she is going to be allowed to become their band manager, which is huge for her. The issue here is that she has never heard this band and cannot hear this band because Piper is deaf. That brought me into it because I'm always up for a book that that stars, in particular, a character with some sort of overcoming some sort of disability, and that is the case here. It is also music themed. These guys are rockers, and I myself am very much a rocker, so we'll see how it goes. And of course I had to pick a music themed bookmark for this book. Alright, final book of the month as far as the physical books go. This is one that the lovely Miss Paige bought me because I kind of begged her to buy it for me so that I didn't break my ban, but you know, whatever, it counts. This is Lauren April with A Different Kind, and I love this cover. I love this cover, so nice. This, the tagline is, be afraid if they take you once, be more afraid if they come back. So this is about a girl named Peyton Carlson who is abducted by aliens. And she is now in the aftermath trying to piece together what happened that night. Meanwhile, her next door neighbor starts showing more and more interest in her, but he's kind of an oddball himself. He spends a lot of evenings up on his roof staring out at the stars, and she kind of starts to wonder if he is also an abductee. Things are sort of spiraling out of control around her, and she's realizing what little importance things like homecoming dances and cheerleading squad have on her life. She's basically just trying to come to terms with what happened and figure out this mystery of, was she even actually abducted? What happened? What happened, and is it going to happen again? I don't read enough fiction about aliens. As soon as I saw it, I knew I had to have it, and I knew that I didn't want to wait until I finished with this ban. This was just one that I just kind of had to have it right then and there. So glad that I was able to pick it up. Why I'm making myself wait until the end of the month to read it, I don't know. I like the torture, I guess. I don't know. But for the bookmark, I picked one of my X-Files. This is from the pilot episode of the X-Files, which pertains to alien abductions. As if the rest of X-Files doesn't in some way. So, that's my TBR. You have had cat footage, and I have posed to you questions about the content that you want to see in these next few videos. Again, am I going to talk about my whole wrap up for November, December, January? Do you want me to put up a list and you pick and choose? What do you want? Just tell me what you want. We'll make it happen. So I'm going to close out here. Thank you for joining me. For those that have stuck around through this rather tumultuous relationship that we have on here, I very much appreciate it. I appreciate all your support, and I hope that you will see me on here again, and that I will see all of you down in the comments. Thank you all. Stay safe. Drink great coffee. Cheers.